I always look at the past, the present and the future. Bring some from the past, bring some from the present, and put something for the future. My name's Kim Jones. I'm the Artistic Director of Christian Dior Menswear. I'm also the Artistic Director of Fendi Couture and Ready to Wear.
Listen, Kim Jones is killing it.
I'm like a soldier from Kim Jones today.
The collection that I just saw was exceptional.
Classic.
Luxury, glamour.
Elegant.
Futuristic.
Quality, divine.
Well-defined.
It was everything.
That's why I love Kim. He always pays homage, but also makes it right now. So it's incredible.
Kim, congratulations.
You can create a whole world around fashion. It affords me to indulge my passions. I'm very interested in what the people I work for and what the customer thinks. I'm a commercial designer, but that's not a negative. I love seeing people wear my clothes. Because I grew up and traveled the world since the age of 3 months, I became very interested in just anything cultural. I'm a big reader and a big lover of art. Just looking at things and seeing how the world could be very different. I guess I always look at things from the outside, and that's great when you do fashion.
Good morning, y'all. We're at the Supreme Louis Vuitton drop here at 180 Strand. It's lit, it's a mad thing, and I'm gonna show you guys what went down today.
And I think culture is something that young people really reference and love and enjoy. I think people relate to me. I like authenticity in everything. It's really important. If I see something I think is good, I'll look at it and investigate it. I love information. And I approach people to work with me that I admire. In one of my first meetings at Fendi, all the girls around the table went silent. What are you looking at? And they're like, oh, there's a Skims drop. And I said, well, let's text Kim. If you all love Skims, let's do something with her.
Never did I ever imagine that I would have a collaboration with my brand and Fendi. I see the sketch process. I see the design process. He loves to send me things. I love to give him my feedback. I love looking at it way before the designs are even made. And that's like, oh my God, is this my life? Like, what's happening? I get so excited. I'm so humbled by it. Kim is just one of the hardest working men that I know. He's always been like that. Being able to go to Dior Men to see all the fun collaborations that he's done, and then to see him take on Fendi Women's Couture. He does it all.
I don't know how things come to mind. Sometimes they just appear. Things come by mistake sometimes as well. I just feel like sometimes I fall in the right place at the right time. I don't think about it too much. I just get on with it.
I always remember the first time we turned up to our locals. We got out and we were the only people of color there. There was no other people of color there. Generally, when I put the helmet on and I get in the car, that's really where I felt like I came alive. When I first got in the go-kart, I had a smile on my face. First time I got in the Formula 1 car, ear-to-ear smile. And still, after all these years, they start the car up on Friday morning. I get this rush every time. And it's just the exhilaration, you know, the speed, the vibrations, the noise. I feel like I tap into a different part of my brain.
Lewis Hamilton is a 7-time champion of the world.
So when people were saying things or we were experiencing abuse, because even my dad did, he's like, we'll just beat you on track. And that's what we just kept doing.
He wins the British Grand Prix for an 8th time. Lewis Hamilton. Sir Lewis Hamilton's been night and day ahead of the rest. Lewis Hamilton, it's 100 race victories. More wins than any other driver in Formula One history.
That's for all the kids out there who dream the impossible. You can do it too, man. I believe in you guys.
I'm Lewis Hamilton. I'm a Formula One driver, an entrepreneur, and an advocate for diversity and inclusion.
My car feels really powerful when I'm in it, but imagine being in the Formula One car.
I think all kids, youngsters, dream crazy things. I had my eyes set on it, and there was nothing going to stop me from doing that. Drivers have to be a square in order to get into Formula One. If you're not a square, you're not welcome. Drivers do these certain things. Drivers go to bed at 10 p.m. or whatever it is. No drivers do fashion. No drivers do anything else but drive. And so I remember getting there and I'm thinking, I'm different. I like doing all these other things. It definitely felt like I had to conform initially to how people wanted me to be, and I wasn't comfortable. I remember the first year that I got to my sport. On a big scale, experienced racism from this crowd. And no one said anything. I was really unhappy. I finally reached my dream, but I'm not me. I'm not able to be me. And I didn't have the confidence at the time, so I just stayed quiet. We suppress so many things that we don't even realize the pain that we experience. At the end of the year, I think my 14th or 15th year, and I'm looking at all the images of the teams at the end of the year as they celebrate the year. And I realize that the teams are still all white, very, very few people of color in them. And I'm thinking, how is that still the case after I've been here all this time? And then everything that happened before George and then George's death really hit hard. I couldn't believe that so many people just stay quiet about it. So I was like, you know what? I'm willing to take the risk, whether it means my job, reputation, it doesn't matter. But I really want the Black community to know that I hear you and I stand with you, and I will not let this one go. We've got to spark conversation, and so that's why I spoke out to my industry.
Lewis Hamilton has called for change within Formula One, and he's now asking the question, what next?
There's around 40,000 jobs in our industry. Only 1% come from Black backgrounds. Why am I the only one there? It's got to mean more than just winning championships and winning races. Last year, there's a lot of people speaking about things. Now it's about action. Last year, we only had 3% diversity in our team. We're now at 6%, and we're on the goal of getting to 25% in the next 4 years. That I want to look back at this sport in the next 10, 15 years and just see it more representative of the outside world. I won't be racing forever, but if I can see that change, then that will feel like my time here has been worthwhile.
I always grew up feeling that this planet is magnificent. What right does one species have to destroy it. Nothing I can do is as beautiful as nature. I'm being inspired by that beauty. We live in a city and we don't have that much of a connection. We look at the park trees, but we walk right by them. Oh yeah, it's a park. But here are these strange beings. Sadly, salt water has been coming in and beginning to kill off all these incredible Atlantic coast cedars. I mean, these are 80-year-old trees. They're personalities. Each one is like I call them the gentle giants. And maybe if I can get you to be a little more curious, then you're gonna start reading about solutions. It's getting biblical, whether it's forest fires in the West, forest fires in Greece, horrible flooding throughout Europe. Now is the time not to get despondent. Now is the time to roll up our sleeves and say, we can do a lot. We have to fight for this one. This is our kids' future. This is our future. My name is Maya Lin. I'm an artist, designer, and environmentalist. My whole world has always been a tension between opposites. East and West, science, art. I feel I exist on the boundaries, somewhere between places. Anywhere I go, I can make my own little world. I can be intensely drawn to the facts, and then you have to put it all away and find the poetry.
She's a truly important visual thinker. I don't think you can separate it from her person. And it's gentle, it's direct, it's powerful. I don't think anybody else is in that realm.
My aesthetic process, I see it as a tripod. One leg is the art, one leg is the architecture, and one leg are the memorials. Because if I take one leg away, I'll fall over it. I use history, I use stories, I use facts, I use science. I'm going to present you with what the story is, but I'm not going to draw the conclusion for you.
She looks for an essence, a social essence, and uses nature to express that essence. It's very personal.
Can I arrest your assumption of what you're looking at for a minute, so all of a sudden you experience it and you actually relate to it? When I was growing up, my parents had both fled China, and they never talked about their past. I have no photographs of my father's mother. The past was all taken. I actually have this need to try to remember and present these histories extremely accurately and in a way unbiasedly. Let's just present the facts. If you can stop people from remembering, it's a pretty scary thing because you can actually try to pretend the past doesn't matter. We have to always face the truth. We have to face the truth of our pasts. Then it can teach us a new future. It can guide us to a better future. As an artist, I know that I will dedicate the rest of my life to the one cause that when I was a child I cared so deeply about, which is the environment. It'll keep iterating itself in different ways. I'm not trying to conquer the land. I'm mapping the earth. I'm showcasing science and technology. I am going to try to point out things in the land that you may not be noticing. I would hope that my work helps by accurately remembering history at times or getting you to look at the land in a new light. Maybe I can get you to slow down and take a moment and look at how absolutely beautiful the natural world is.
I'm about to do something terrible.
It's 2021 and divisiveness is super boring.
Still hurts to hear out loud.
Show business and acting and storytelling.
Tell me they got that in slow motion.
It's meant to bring some joy or bring people together.
Now do me. Do me.
You're welcome, Canada.
Hey there, my name is Ryan Reynolds. I am an actor. I'm an entrepreneur, I guess. And I'm a blood-filled meat suit. People love comedy when it's at someone else's expense, but I think it's even better when it's at your own.
I was up here.
I'm drawn to projects that I think kind of fit into the zeitgeist.
Where'd you get that jacket? It's a statement piece. Somewhere there's a very nude cow whispering. Worth it.
I learned so much of what I do through movies. I mean, I worked on movies that were enormous failures. That's where I learned, like, holy, I need to take some authorship here. That's kind of what happened on Deadpool.
This guy's got the right idea.
We had to put something on the screen that looked like a $100 million movie, even though we had half of that. I championed it like it was a kid of mine. That was kind of where everything sort of changed. The marketing work was insane. I have a suit here at home, and we would put it on and we would go shoot stuff.
At some point, we must all join forces, become a team. This team sucks!
No one really believed in it, so we sort of had to do things ourselves.
I think Deadpool may have been drunk.
If you're authentic and you kind of come at it, warts and all, people embrace it. And that's something I carried over even into marketing.
My new movie, 6 Underground, is so huge, you're gonna wanna watch it on a bigger, better Samsung QLED TV.
I think what advertisers sort of forget is that they don't realize that consumers are aware they're experiencing marketing.
Oh.
Aviation gin.
How'd that get there?
Let them know we're marketing right now. We're making this is a commercial.
Cut!
Hey,
yeah.
Why is your aviation gin ad playing?
I bought mid-roll ad placement.
You bought an ad for your gin within an ad, for your movie within an ad for Samsung TV.
Yes. It felt like the right thing to do. I love growing things, growing my family, growing stories, growing my company. Aviation Gin or Mint Mobile or Mountain.
Ryan Reynolds is a complete and total The gin's pretty great, though. I'll have to try it someday.
To have skin in the game to me is also just means like you're personally invested in it. You tend to think on it a little bit more critically and more intensely and stew on it even subconsciously in ways that you don't kind of realize until you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, hey, we should do we should do an ad where Satan in 2020 fall in love.
2020.
Please, call me 2020.
Today we're announcing something I'm super excited about. It's called the Group Effort Initiative. Now making a movie that, well, it's a group effort. But for entirely too long, that group has systemically excluded Black, Indigenous, people of color, and a whole host of other marginalized communities. I've been on film sets, for 25 years, and everyone looks the same. It's just, you sort of see that there are so many skilled people out there that have been systemically excluded from the business. These are people who are intensely skilled at what they do, who just haven't been allowed the opportunity to do it. We decided to kind of put that to work on the movies that I work on. The reasons I love what I do is that it's meant to bring some joy or bring people together. So when I do crawl into a box and turn skeleton, I hope people look back and say, like, he brought as many people along for that journey as he possibly could. If that is sort of where I kind of closed my eyes to this mortal dumb show, be sweet.
I think writers are outsiders. You're within your community, but also without taking notes, observing what's going on around you and figuring out where you fit in. Because when you're a writer, no one really wants to read your stuff, everyone hates you. And if you internalize that hatred early, you're prepared for when you go out into the world. I'm Colson Whitehead, a writer, Fiction mostly. I was one of the few black kids in my white high school in Upper West Side. But in the summers, my family and I would come out to Sag Harbor, Long Island. And it's in the Hamptons. There's been a black community out here going for the last 100 years. I was one of the few black kids in Sag Harbor who liked Susie and the Banshees. Where does that feed into my work? I'm not totally sure. I get a lot of ideas just sitting around. I'm reading a newspaper article or staring off into space in a depressive haze. I keep writing about New York. I think if I figured out New York, I would stop talking about it. I don't think anyone's really capable of putting their hands around it. I love pop culture. If I can use humor and satire, I'm really happy. I like American history and race in America. Last summer, Nickel Boys was coming out in a lot of European countries. It was after the George Floyd protests, his death, and the aftermath. And people say, oh, it's very prescient. You're writing about inequities in law enforcement and then George Floyd. It's actually not prescient. If you write about a up racial incident, wait 5 minutes, another up racial incident's gonna come along. So little has changed that it ends up resonating. So I'm not being prescient, I'm just observing and doing reportage in a certain kind of way. I am asked to, give my pronouncements about black culture and American history. I feel if I have something to say, I put it in the book. That's why I write books. I'd rather it be historians and sociologists and experts in criminal justice as opposed to some jackass novelist. So I'll stay in my lane and the sociologists can, do their good work and stay in their lanes. I was in Brooklyn and came across a reference to the Underground Railroad and remembered how when I was a little kid, those words were so visual and resonant that I thought this network of runaway slaves was a literal train beneath the earth. The Underground Railroad, a novel about American history and slavery and how the country came to be, it's not real, it's not rooted in reality. And it allowed me to do a lot of different things that I couldn't do if I stuck to the truth. Jumping around and devising different alternative Americas, I might approach some idea of a real America.
Supremacists in America.
A lot more people like that than my other books.
The prize in fiction goes to the novel The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead.
Here I saw a dappled wonder settling across the fields, hovering on angel wings, brandishing a blazing shield.
Underground Railroad was the first adaptation. I think I had too many black people in my early books. I should have considered that if I want them to get made. But Barry Jenkins, the director of Underground, was unafraid.
This will be a show if, for, and by black people. Adapting The Underground Railroad was a big challenge. The most difficult thing I've ever done in my creative life. He just has this way of writing in a way that conjures images. I think he's really good at keeping his finger on the pulse of American society, American life. All these things that were at the periphery that are now at the center of American consciousness have also gone from periphery into the center of his work. It's easy to assume that by default, his books are about the lives and souls of black folk, but that's also a choice. I think it's a really beautiful choice.
In 7th grade, I got a lot of permission to be a writer by reading an excerpt from Invisible Man. Here's a black writer, here's a weirdo, I'm a weirdo, maybe I can write. Even though I feel very settled, and I've been fortunate with the reception of the last few books, I am on the outside always just sort of trying to find little bits of things from my nest that I can use to fix up what I'm working on. Observing what's going on around you and figuring out where you fit in.
What's interesting is growing up as a kid, I was always very shy. I do remember feeling really different.
How beautiful.
Especially when I was just in grade school. Just feeling that I didn't look like the representation of the women that I would see in the media a lot. I always loved shapewear. I would find that I couldn't find shapewear that would be my skin tone. I really wanted to launch my own shapewear that took all of the designs that I was cutting up myself, that I was dyeing myself, and just had an extremely inclusive, age-wise, size-wise, color range-wise, everything. I'm Kim Kardashian West, and I am the founder of Skims. Authenticity is key. I think people had seen that through so many years, even if it wasn't my own brand. You know, they had seen me wear it for so long. It was a natural business venture to start.
When you have to wear a bra, at the end of the day, I want to swap my bra. With Kim's bra, it's very comfortable, but comfortable in a sexy way, because everything Kim is doing is always sexy, and you want it. I think Skims now, mostly as a bra, become a part of the runway, under the jacket, under the coat, become very fashion.
When you are launching a product and you decide that you want it to be direct to consumer and you have a platform, using your platform like Instagram, like Twitter, to push out the content is really important.
Hey guys, so I'm in my closet and I'm gonna show you guys a new Skims collection.
I love still doing traditional media. I still love the billboards, I still love ad campaigns. But social media, I would say, is definitely, like 90% of it. To show that and to try on a piece and show how it really comes to life and how usable it is. I have to show you the back. It's really low and it does show your crack, but it's supposed to be like that because for really low-waisted dresses, you really need that or you'll see it coming through. That engagement is so helpful when you are trying to really sell product.
Another part Kim is genius is the way she connects with her audience.
I am wearing our cotton t-shirt.
So it's a part of herself. You want it immediately and you figure it's going to be no more very soon, so you want to catch the next drop immediately.
Let's talk about Skims. We're an underwear brand, a shapewear brand, loungewear, sleepwear. I just know that I feel better when I'm wearing shapewear. When I feel like I look good, I can always just put on this attitude that I just feel confident. And it motivates me. There's something when you go out and you just want to feel like you're together and secure underneath your outfit. I want women of all shapes, sizes, colors, ages to feel confident. I think every girl is the perfect Skims girl.
I think one of the most powerful things Sesame can do is shine a light on issues through the lens of a child. We address so many challenging issues. Parental addiction, parental incarceration, homelessness.
Children should never know what it's like to not have a permanent home.
1.8 billion children have no access to formal learning during a pandemic. The largest number of people displaced since World War II, half of whom were children. Those are really tough issues, but we address them with hope and tools for the adults and caregivers in their lives to help address those issues. The need for Sesame has never been greater. I'm Sherry Weston. I'm president of Sesame Workshop.
I am Alan Maroka, the owner of Hooper's Store.
Hi, Elmo's name is Elmo. Oh, and Elmo loves living on Sesame Street.
Sesame Street started out as a huge experiment.
I will be brief, for our time is necessarily short.
Well, it was the 1960s, the Johnson administration, the war on poverty, and Joan Gans Cooney, who was the creator of Sesame Street,
The letters of the alphabet.
and Lloyd Morissette, who was the co-founder, came up with this radical idea.
Well, the idea is to teach little preschool kids some stuff that'll be useful to them in school.
Could television be used to teach? And particularly, could it help less advantaged children arrive at school ready to learn? Joan had a hunch that if an adult were watching with a child, the learning would be deeper and it would continue off screen.
Let's do it. Clap your hands.
And that's why she brought in Muppets.
Hello. Reading.
Jim Henson.
Big laugh. 2 points and then go get it.
Celebrities.
Elmo thinks Whoopi's skin is a very pretty brown.
You're welcome.
No!
Parodies and humor.
Behold, the goblet of cookies.
Musicians.
Now let's do it. All right.
She wanted it to appeal to adults as well as children.
What famous person is going to sing to Elmo?
What do you mean, what famous person is going to sing to you?
Boy, Stevie, you really played good.
That is so prescient because we know today the way a child learns is through engagement with an adult.
Today, the letter of the day is H.
And H is for hug.
A Muppet has its pure heart. And so they can say things, they can say hard things sometimes that, that might be a little harder for me to say.
Elmo wants to know why Russ's skin is brown.
Oh, I know why, Elmo. My mom and dad told me. It's because of melanin.
The color of our skin is an important part of who we are.
Children learn best when they see themselves and when they see positive portrayals of themselves.
Very cool.
Most people know the iconic Sesame Street here in the United States.
Cookie Monster! Scram! Go away!
But you may not know characters like Chomsky in India. Jod is a little Muppet who left his home. He becomes best friends with Bosma. Or the first ever HIV-positive Muppet in South Africa, Cammy.
I have much more fun when I play with my friends.
I don't know where I would be right now if I hadn't had Sesame Street and the content that we're creating in the past year and a half alone.
This year, Alan helped Elmo learn something really important. How to use kind words and actions to help Elmo's friends and himself when someone's being treated unfairly or unkindly.
I was at the park today, and the boy told me I was ugly. He made fun of my eyes.
That child was wrong to say those things to you. Your eyes are the perfect eyes for you.
Through protesting, people are able to share their feelings and work together to make things better.
Sometimes COVID makes Elmo feel worried or angry or scared.
We're all having some pretty big feelings right now.
Yeah.
Sesame Street is all about reaching children with the tools they need to thrive, to put them on that path for success, not just in school, but in life. It's as relevant today as it was 52 years ago. And the potential to make a difference for children,
I love this view,
is enormous.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road.
If I do something amazing, that just means I want to do more amazing things.
Baby bet, ayy, couple racks, ayy, couple Grammys on him, couple plaques, ayy, that's a fact.
As I was writing these songs and going into the booth, I was changing internally. I was telling all these stories and also letting go of a lot of things that I had like pent up through my music. My name is Lil Nas X and I am an artist. I was a teacher's pet very often. I wanted to be a surgeon. Definitely didn't expect it to be music. I was always the kind of person who was like, okay, let me be the best at this. And I guess that led to my drive to be discovered as quick as possible. It's like you go from having nothing at all, being in the worst point of your life, to a star. Going to McDonald's, but this time when you go to McDonald's, like, you have a bank account of thousands of dollars. I definitely felt myself like slowly giving into the role that society gave me. You know, like, this is the future of country music, and this is a novelty. This is a cute, fun song he made, and now he's gonna retire. But
I caught it bad just today.
I always got a trick up my sleeve.
Ain't been out in a while anyway.
I was honest in every single song.
Romantic talking, you don't even have to try.
And I was like, okay, which one of these songs would best represent Montero the most? That song was super important to this era of my life and where I felt like I needed to go if I wanted to keep being myself in the music industry. It was the first song that I was like 100% openly out on in a big way.
It is incredible for a pop star to be openly gay, to have permission to be hypersexualized himself.
I feel him, and I'm a fan of him, and I'm a fan of what he's doing and what he stands for. I think he's becoming an icon.
I just want to say a special thanks to Lil Nas X. He is a wonderful artist and has balls of steel.
I want to do music. This is me. This is my life. I'm ready to risk it all for this. Anything and everything that I do, I can always do it better.
Jolene, 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 Jolene. I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 Jolene. Please don't take him just because you can. Your beauty is beyond compare. Your flaming locks of auburn hair, ivory skin, and eyes of emerald green. Your smile is like a breath of spring. Your voice is like soft summer rain, and I cannot compete with you, Jolene. He talks about you in his sleep. There's nothing I can do to keep from crying when he calls your name, Jolene. But I could easily understand how you could easily take my man, but you don't know what he means to me, Jolene. Jolene, 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 Jolene. I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 Jolene. Please don't take him just because you can. You could have your choice of me, but I can never love again. He's the only one for me, Jolene. I had to have this talk with you. My happiness depends on you, whatever you decide to do, Jolene. Jolene, 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 Jolene. I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 Jolene. Please don't take him even